I crossed a line with my own son. A line I never thought existed. The hum of the refrigerator was a low, grounding thrum in the quiet kitchen, a sound that usually meant peace. But that morning, standing there, tracing the glacial edge of the granite countertop, peace felt fragile. Like a soap bubble shimmering, about to pop. This house, bathed in the pale morning light filtering through the expensive blinds I'd agonized over choosing, was supposed to be the fortress. The testament to survival. Proof that the screaming uncertainty of the past, the cramped apartments smelling of stale fear and ramen noodles, the night spent calculating pennies under the harsh glare of a bare bulb while Liam slept fitfully nearby, was finally over. We'd made it. I'd made it. Me and Liam, against the goddamn world that tried to swallow us whole after his father vanished like smoke, leaving nothing but a hollow ache and a pile of overdue bills. He never saw Liam take his first steps, never heard his first real word that wasn't just baby babble. He just dissolved. And I'd spent years terrified I'd see that same ephemeral quality, that chilling detachment, in my son. But Liam was anchor. Liam was solidity. Even as a kid, navigating the minefield of our poverty, his small hand in mine was the only thing that felt real. "It's gonna be okay, Mom," he'd whisper, his voice impossibly wise for his years, and the knot in my chest would loosen just enough to let me breathe. We were a unit, forged in hardship, our bond tempered by shared secrets whispered in the dark because the walls were paper-thin, and privacy was a luxury we couldn't afford. And now we had space. Glorious, echoing space. Walls thick enough to absorb sound, rooms filled with light, a backyard that didn't overlook a dumpster alley. I'd clawed my way here, fueled by caffeine and sheer, desperate willpower. I'd built this life, brick by painstaking brick. And the hot tub, damn, the hot tub felt like the ridiculously extravagant cherry on top. An indulgence I almost felt guilty about, until I remembered the years of going without, the constant gnawing anxiety. I deserved this. We deserved this. Liam had just smirked when I told him, that knowing half-smile he had. "Treat yourself, Mom." He probably thought it was just another one of my midlife crisis fitness kicks manifesting in expensive purchases. He didn't understand it was a monument. The first night, sitting in it alone under the stars, the water jetting against muscles sore from workouts and years of tension, it felt like absolution. Like washing away the grime of the past. By the weekend, the urge to share this little piece of manufactured paradise with Liam was overwhelming. He was the other half of the equation, the reason I'd fought so hard. He brushed me off initially, typical teenager feigning indifference. But I pushed, maybe a little too much, hinting about muscle recovery, the simple pleasure of it. Finally, after dinner, he relented with a sigh that sounded suspiciously like amusement. All right. But don't expect me to get all pruny. That should have been it. Just a normal, shared moment. Mother and son, enjoying the spoils of a hard-won battle. But as I stood in my bedroom, pulling out the black bikini, a practical, sporty one, nothing overtly provocative, or so I told myself, a strange current ran through me. A flicker of something else. Vanity? Maybe. I checked my reflection longer than necessary, adjusted the straps with fingers that trembled slightly. It's just the hot tub, I reasoned, smoothing my hair, forcing down the unfamiliar flutter in my stomach. It's silly to feel nervous. Carrying the drinks out, the night air felt thick, heavy with the scent of chlorine and something electric, unspoken. He was already in, steam rising around his broad shoulders, leaning back against the smooth acrylic shell like he owned the place. He looked different. Older. More solid. The boy I'd raised seemed to be receding, replaced by this young man who filled the space so completely. Told you it'd be nice, I said, my voice catching slightly. I dropped my robe, the movement feeling strangely deliberate, exposing the bikini. His eyes flicked up, a quick, almost imperceptible glance that nonetheless sent a jolt straight through me, before darting back to the churning water. I pretended I hadn't seen it, dipped a toe in, the heat shocking. I'll admit, he conceded, swirling the ice in his glass, it's better than I thought. But I'm keeping this spot, jets are perfect here. Oh, really? I eased myself in, the water enveloping me like a warm, heavy embrace. Well, don't get too comfortable. That's my spot, and I plan on taking it back. You snooze, you lose, he shot back, the familiar grin flashing. Relief washed over me. This was us. This easy banter, this comfortable closeness. We laughed, the sound echoing slightly in the quiet yard. It felt almost like old times, cramped on the sofa, fighting over the remote. Almost. But the heat, the water slowing every movement, the undeniable physical presence of him so close, it shifted the dynamic. Fine, I said, scooting closer, the water swirling around my hips. If you're not moving, let me see what's so great about this spot. We shifted, a clumsy underwater ballet, and the jets hit my lower back, my thighs, with a force that made me gasp softly. He gave me that look, the one that said I told you so, but held something else too, something assessing. Told you, he murmured. You're not getting it back now. Wanna bet? The challenge was out before I could think. I lunged playfully, reaching for his arm. He dodged, laughing, swatting my hands away. Water sloshed violently over the sides. Suddenly, we were wrestling, a tangle of limbs in the churning water, breathless laughter mixing with the steam. All right, he yelled, holding his drink aloft like a trophy. You win. Just sit down already. Gladly, I panted, and without a single conscious thought directing the action, propelled by momentum and the slippery heat, I sank, right onto his lap. The world stopped. The laughter died instantly. The water settled. The only sound was the frantic hammering of my own heart against my ribs, loud enough, I was sure, for him to hear. Beneath me, I felt it. The sudden, rigid tension that seized his entire body. The unmistakable hardness pressing against the thin fabric of my bikini bottom. Time stretched, became thick like molasses. My breath hitched. I couldn't move. Paralyzed. Not by fear exactly, but by a shocking, terrifying awareness that flooded every nerve ending. He didn't move either. Didn't push me away. Didn't speak. Sorry, he finally muttered, his voice thick, rough, unrecognizable. I didn't mean to. It's fine, I cut him off, forcing a brittle laugh that sounded horribly fake even to my own ears. My face was burning. Just the jets, relax. Liar. It wasn't the jets. We both knew it wasn't the jets. He didn't look relaxed. His face was flushed dark, jaw clenched tight as granite. And when his eyes finally met mine across the scant inches separating us, the look in them wasn't just surprise or embarrassment. There was something else flickering in their depths. Confusion, yes, but also heat. A raw, startled awareness that mirrored the chaos erupting inside me. And God help me, a treacherous part of me, deep down, liked it. Liked the way he looked at me, nervous, unsure, thrown off balance. Like I held some strange, unwanted power. The silence pulsed, charged and dangerous. You know, I said, desperately trying to shatter the unbearable tension, my voice trembling slightly, this wouldn't have happened if you'd just given me my seat back. He let out a choked laugh, the sound tight. The tension eased fractionally, but the charge remained, humming between us like a downed power line. He slid out from under me then, quickly, mumbling something about needing another drink, and hauled himself out of the tub, water sluicing off his body. I watched him go, my eyes drawn, against my will, to the way the wet shorts clung to him before he disappeared inside the house, leaving me alone in the suddenly too hot water, shivering despite the heat. What the hell was that? The question echoed in the sudden silence. The innocent closeness we'd cherished, the bedrock of our life together, felt like it had just cracked down the middle. An invisible line had been crossed, obliterated by accidental proximity and undeniable biology. Harmless. Maybe. But the feeling, the electric jolt, the horrifying, thrilling awareness, it wasn't harmless. It felt like the start of something terrifying. A spark ignited in the dark, close confines of our shared history, threatening to burn everything down. And I didn't know how to put it out. Worse, a dark, secret part of me wasn't sure if I wanted to. The memory of that hot tub incident clung to me like the cloying scent of chlorine, refusing to dissipate with the morning sun. It played on a loop in my mind, the sudden, shocking rigidity beneath me, the startled heat in Liam's eyes, the terrifying, exhilarating jolt that had shot through my own system. It was nothing, one part of my brain insisted, the rational mom part. An accident. Awkward, yes, but meaningless. But another voice, quieter, more insidious, whispered a different truth. It hadn't felt meaningless. It had felt potent. Like cracking open a door I never knew existed, and getting a glimpse of something forbidden and dangerously alluring. Standing in the spacious kitchen of the house I had bought, the house that symbolized my hard-won independence, a profound loneliness washed over me, sharp and unexpected. It was the same hollow ache that sometimes ambushed me late at night, the ghost of Liam's absent father, the reminder that despite my success, despite Liam, there was a void. For years, survival had been the only goal. Keep us fed, housed, safe. There was no room for frivolous desires, no energy for anything beyond the relentless grind. But now things were steady. And in that steadiness, coupled with the newfound confidence blooming from months of dedicated workouts, the feeling of strength in my own limbs, the appreciative glances from strangers, the reflection in the mirror that finally looked like me again, a different kind of hunger began to stir. A hunger for more. More than just stability. More than just being mom. And that hot tub moment. It had offered a taste of something illicitly thrilling. His reaction, the flash of startled awareness, the way he'd looked at me before looking away, it had been flattering. Intoxicating. It made me feel seen, not just as the capable single mother but as a woman. A dangerous thought, I knew. A catastrophically dangerous thought. But the memory pulsed, a low, steady hum beneath the surface of my everyday thoughts. I didn't plan it, not consciously. Not at first. But the idea began to germinate in the fertile ground of loneliness and nascent confidence. A dangerous little seed of curiosity. What if? What if I pushed just a little? What would happen? It started small, almost unconsciously. Making breakfast the next morning, I reached for a tank top, my usual workout gear. But then my hand hesitated. I pulled out a slightly thinner one that dipped a little lower, and deliberately didn't put on a bra underneath. It's hot, I justified silently. And who cares? It's just Liam. He came into the kitchen, yawning, hair sleep-tousled, reaching for the coffee. He didn't say a word. But as he turned away from the counter, mug in hand, his eyes flickered down. Just for a nanosecond. A barely perceptible glance towards my chest. But I saw it. And my breath caught. It was like a tiny electric shock, a validation. That forbidden thrill, muted but definitely there, zinged through me again. He'd noticed. It wasn't just in my head. That tiny reaction was all the encouragement the insidious little voice needed. It became a game. A secret, exhilarating game only I knew I was playing. Or so I thought. The sweatpants I usually lived in were replaced by leggings, tight ones that hugged my curves I'd worked damn hard for. Hoodies gave way to tops with slightly lower necklines, or ones that clung just enough. I found myself bending over to pick things up with maybe a little more deliberation, when he was in the room, stretching languidly after a workout in the living room, acutely aware of his presence. I'd accidentally brush past him in the hallway, even when there was plenty of room, feeling the jolt of contact, however brief. Each time, I'd hold my breath, waiting for a reaction. Sometimes there was nothing. Sometimes just that quick, darting glance. But it was enough. Each glance was a hit, a tiny dose of adrenaline that fueled the next move. I told myself it was harmless flirtation, a way to feel alive, attractive, after years of feeling like little more than a caregiver and provider. I was just boosting my own ego, testing the waters of my own desirability. It had nothing to do with him, not really. It was just experimenting. A dangerous rationalization, paper-thin, and getting thinner by the day. Because the more I played this perilous game, the more I liked it. I liked the subtle shift in the way he looked at me. It wasn't overt. Not yet. But the easy, comfortable way he used to see me, just mom, his anchor, his constant, was being subtly eroded, replaced by something else. A flicker of confusion, sometimes. A hint of awareness. Maybe even curiosity mirroring my own. Was I imagining it? Projecting my own messed up feelings onto him? The rational part of me screamed warnings. Stop this. This is wrong. This is your son. But the thrill was addictive. It was like walking a tightrope, the danger, the focus, the exhilaration of not falling. I felt powerful, in a strange, unsettling way. Holding this secret, orchestrating these tiny moments, watching for his reaction, it filled a void I hadn't even fully acknowledged was there. I started paying more attention to him, too. Noticing the way his shoulders filled out his t-shirts, the line of his jaw when he concentrated, the casual grace in his movements. He wasn't a boy anymore. He was a man, living in my house, sharing my space, and the lines we'd lived within for 20 years suddenly felt blurry, indistinct. The house, once a symbol of safety and achievement, started to feel different. Charged. The air between us grew heavier, thick with unspoken things. The easy silence we used to share now felt loaded, pregnant with possibility, or disaster. I knew I was wading into treacherous waters. Every calculated move, every feigned accident, every revealing outfit was another step deeper into a swamp I might not be able to escape. The potential for catastrophe was immense, the betrayal of everything we were unthinkable. Yet, the memory of that jolt in the hot tub, amplified by every subsequent glance I managed to elicit, kept pulling me forward. Each flicker in his eyes wasn't just a validation, it was a dare. And God help me, I was starting to take it. The game had begun, and I was already in too deep to easily turn back, even as the warning bells clanged louder and louder in my head.